Hey guys, Bella here, and I wanted to do an unboxing video because my medicine just came from Fridays. This is a compound option where you can get compounded GLP-1 medication. So they send it to you in a insulated box from the UPS is who I got mine from. He just dropped it off at my door. So I'm gonna unbox it really quick before I put it back in the fridge and show you what it looks like to get your medicine this way. Okay, so it's in this cooler-like thing. I take the lid off. It's kind of nice because I actually needed a cooler. We're going out on the boat this weekend. So it has the meds, I believe, in here. It says Empower. That's the pharmacy that it came from. Now, depending on where you live, the medicine will come from different compounding pharmacies. So it just depends on your region. So inside here is, these are cold packs. I mean, this thing is huge. There's 1, 2, 3 cold packs. Okay, looks like here is actually the medicine. I'm gonna be careful not to show you guys any of my personal info, but basically it looks like they put the needles and stuff in here and then the meds in here. And so that's how it comes in this big cooler box here. So if you're kind of worried about getting your medicine when you're not home or something like that, I would just say like it should be good until you can get home. I mean, obviously you don't want to leave it for days, but I mean, I've been out and stuff and I haven't had a chance to get my mail and they just left it and it was fine. So I just want to tell you that they do package everything, you know, nice and neat from Empower Pharmacy. I'm a bit disheveled here because I just woke up, but I get my medicine through Friday's telehealth option. So if you're interested, you can use code BELLA and get $100 off of your first month if you qualify to be on a GLP-1 medicine. I'll put everything in the links below. I've used this company for over a year and I really like working with them. So you can see here in this package is all of the needles and the alcohol prep wipes that you need. So pretty much every single thing that you need to do your shot. These are the needles, okay? And the size may vary depending on the dose that you're on, but this is what they look like. And then in here is some of these alcohol prep wipes. I would recommend getting some additional ones just because sometimes you just need more. So, you know, really a cheap thing to order on Amazon, some alcohol prep wipes. I would also recommend you get a Sharps container to get rid of your needles. So let's take a look at the actual medication since this is what we're going to use to administer it. Let's take a look at the medicine. It comes in a really small container. It's really, really tiny. If you've ever ordered anything like peptides or anything like that, you might recognize the way that it looks. So here is what it looks like out of the box. You can see it says SEMAGLUTIDE on the front. That purple thing is a cap that you have to take off before you can administer your first dose. So make sure that you take the cap off before you try to stick the needle in it. I know some people will have that mistake and well, you find out the hard way, but this is SEMAGLUTIDE cyanobacillide. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but anyways, I'll put it up on the screen here so you guys can see it. So on the box, you'll have your injection instructions. This says how I'm supposed to inject, how many units, how often, and it basically gives a date and everything. I put this container in my fridge and I would recommend writing the date on it that you received it. That's my tip, is that I will usually put like the date, either like write it on the box and stick that in the fridge or just write it right on here with a Sharpie. That way I know how old the medicine is. Now in terms of how long to keep your medicine, typically if you're on a regular schedule, you won't have a lot of extra medicine, but it just depends on how you're doing your doses. If you have extra medicine, I would just save it, honestly, because it's so, you know, expensive to keep. I think it's good, you know, generally for several weeks. In terms of how I store it, I literally just put it in the drawer in my fridge with like the cheese and stuff. No special storage or anything like that. I just make sure that whenever I take my shot, I wash my hands, wash the surface, clean this with an alcohol prep wipe before, make sure everything I'm doing is clean, and that is the best way to administer your shot and not have any issues. I can say like getting your GLP-1 stuff by mail is so much more convenient. My mom tried to buy needles for hers and they wouldn't let her buy it at the pharmacy without like a prescription for needles, and I had never heard of that. So I don't know, that's kind of odd to me because you would think they would want people using clean needles, but whatever the case may be, you can still order additional needles on Amazon. You can literally probably scan this barcode to see exactly which needles you use if you just want to have some backup ones. I also like the fact that what I ordered is confidential. Nobody knows what's in that package, and honestly the only person that's seeing it is the UPS person that delivered it and me and my partner. So it's kind of nice to have some privacy while being on one of these medicines because there's a lot of judgment when it comes to taking them, and you don't have to go to the pharmacy and fight for having it in stock. I know personally whenever I was on Ozempic brand name, they never had it in stock at my pharmacy, so it was kind of useless to have that prescription. With Fridays, they're doing different plans for different people, so depending on your your age and your height and your weight and everything, you'll talk to your doctor about being on a GLP-1. I do semaglutide and it is $249 a month. With code BELLA, it's going to be $149 a month for your first month, and then after that you can see if you like it. If you want to do a longer plan, there are some discounts for being on other plans, but for the most part, having my medicine shipped by mail is just like a game changer to me. I never even realized you could do that, which is kind of funny because my grandfather used to get his pills delivered by mail, and I mean, I guess a lot of people do it, you know, older people, but I never thought about me as a 30-year-old woman getting my meds shipped to me. But ever since this option became available, I know that I'm definitely not going back to the other option because it's just not convenient at all. So with all these cold packs, sometimes I save them and use them for different things. I mean, I don't want to waste them, and they are really nice, so sometimes I'll stick them back in the freezer. Like I said, we're actually going out on the boat this weekend, so I'm going to be using this. You also get a notification whenever your stuff has shipped. You'll get an email and it'll tell you the tracking number, so you can better anticipate, you know, like, okay, I'm going to try to be home this day or whatever. But to be honest, they just leave it like in my like carport area, and it's fine until I can get to it. I like the fact that I don't have to sign for it. I feel like they always dodge you when you need to sign for things. Like even if I'm in my house, it feels like maybe they just don't want to talk to people, so they're like, oh, this person wasn't home. And so I like the fact that I don't have to sign for my medicine. Now, to get your meds, you're gonna have to do a medication refill request every couple of weeks. Typically, I recommend people do it like every 3 weeks or so, just because that gives you time to get your medicine through the mail, because sometimes it could take like a week between ordering it and receiving it. But to be honest, I've never waited very long to get my medicine from Fridays. I know that sometimes the pharmacy has delays or the mail has delays, but as an option for telehealth care, like, this is just like the easiest thing that I could do. In the past, I was literally ordering like from sketchy websites and like just going and getting peptides, and so I know for sure how much is in this because it's from a pharmacy. Sometimes you need to pay attention to the dosing because on some of them it'll say like inject 50 units, inject 41 units. So all you have to do is you get the needle out and you'll read on the needle the amount of units here. So it goes all the way up to 40, and I just try my best. I mean, it doesn't have to be an exact science to dose yourself, but you can read on the needle how much you need to inject. And then if you want, you can go back and watch some of my other videos about how I take my shot, but it's pretty straightforward in terms of how you're getting the medicine. It literally just shipped to your door. You don't have to do anything. There's no special permissions or anything like that. It's completely above the board and legal. And I think it's the easiest way for anybody to get on a GLP-1, especially if you live in an area that is kind of like judgmental towards it. And I know that I even saw somebody last week in the doctor's office coming in to get a weekly shot, and they're literally like paying as you go, like for every single shot. And I'm just like, who has time to go to the doctor's office every week to get a shot? I literally do it in my kitchen. It takes me 5 minutes and then I'm done. So if you're interested, just click the links below, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.